Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque, painting live on September 3rd, Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Today we are working on our hedgehogs from our August box for Hedgy Heaven. And we have our 3 hedgies here. So we'll put those aside. And this is how far we got last week. We have our base coat of black, and then our black brown, and then we did our saddle brown. So that puts us at number 3 on our instruction sheet. So we will pick up with those tonight. We'll do a quick little preview because we are working on shipping our September box, boxing them up Friday, Saturday, and Tuesday. So your September box is our Monster Mania, and we have our zombie, our werewolf, our mummy, and our vampire. So the boxes will include the Cone 404 fired bisque for these 4 pieces. There will be a little container of glitter in there, and there will also be a little container of gloss brush-on sealer to put on the eyes and on the claws and on the fangs and on the eyes on your monsters as well, along with a dry brush, which is your extra for the month of September. And I believe it's a round brush, right, Courtney? The 10 round, 10 flat? Round, the 10 round.
I got flat with the hedgies.
So you have your hedgies. We finished up with the flat brushes. We finished up with the hedgehogs, and now we're starting on our round set of dry brushes. So you will get the number 10 round as your extra piece in your September box, and then through December, and you'll have a set of round and flat dry brushes. And then along with these guys, you could also have added extra bisque. Anything from our website, or if you message us for something that we have. But yes, last year we did Mr. and Mrs. Frankie, and a lot of you weren't with us last year, so we did pour more of these, and quite a few of you did add this bisque to your boxes, and I am working on the tutorial for these, which will be downloadable from the resource page, right, Courtney? Mm-hmm. And then I'm also working on the Witchy Girl, which I just started today. So she just got her purple on her and then the rust on her red and orange hair. But she will also have the tutorial that will be downloaded on our resource page as Courtney's birthday gift to you guys. So anyone that got her added to your box, you'll be able to access that as well. And hopefully if we have extra time, if we finish our hedgehogs this week, then next week we'll actually be painting her if we have the time. And then you could have added any extra bisque that you might have wanted. People added pumpkins, the gnomes with the pumpkins, the gnomes with the stars, all kinds of good little things. Then one other quick little announcement is to show you our bisque for our October box, and we don't have a name for it yet, but it's the newest Clay Magic Scarecrow stack at 10.5 inches tall, and then a pumpkin to go with it as well. So this will be the bisque in the October box. So that's just a quick little preview to show you the actual bisque, because I have that fired now. So with all our little announcements done, we will go back to our box. So we would be on number, let's see, we did the saddle brown over our black brown, and now we're going to dry brush Rosy tan over our saddle brown and black brown. So we have, that's cargo pants, where's Rosy tan? Let's light brown. Here we have our Rosy tan, which is Duncan 531. So hello everyone, and again, well, thanks for joining us tonight as we work on our hedgehogs. So we have our Duncan Bisque stain, OS 531 Rosy tan, and I always give that a little shake because it's been sitting since last week. And then I just put a nice little drop on my foil, but you can use a paper plate or a styrofoam plate or your tile palette, whatever works for you. And I'm going to go with a bigger size dry brush because we have a pretty good size pieces and not little detailed area. We have a big area, so I wouldn't want to use like a size 1 or a 3. I'm going to go more with my size 8, a boar bristle brush. What? Oh, this is a size 8. The paint color. We're back to the paint color. It is, oh, where'd it go?
It's right here.
OS 531 Rosy Tan. Cordy is going to type that in the comments for you guys so you can see it as well. So I'm just going to take my size 8 dry brush and go into the edge of my Rosy Tan and dab it a little bit and then brush it out on my paper towel and get most of the paint out, and then you can see I brush again and there's not much. And now I just want to lightly brush across my texture of my little hedgehog here. And so I'm going across the texture and not with it. I don't want to fill in my black and my black brown and my saddle brown shading, so I'm just going across it. I'm going to come around the front here a little bit. And I'll get this very edge a lot brighter or lighter with my Rosy Tan, and then I'll let it fade out as it goes down to the crevice there. And I'll start on one side and work my way around. That way it can dry as it's as I come back around, and I can add another layer or coat if I would like. So I'm just brushing lightly across that texture, not beating real hard on it. With the brush, I'm just going real light. And we kind of have a curve here, so we do want to kind of change our direction. So instead of going straight up and down, I'm going with the curve of his fur. And I also want to come down onto the bottom. I want to make sure my bottom's getting lighter, just like the sides. We want that to look as finished as the rest of it. And we'll come back to our side. And we're just going to keep brushing back and forth across that texture. Just build up that light Rosy Tan color. And get them as light or dark as you would like them to be. So now here he's going almost horizontal, so we have to kind of change our brush. You can see that goes on real quick because these guys have lots of texture, so this would be a great first time dry brushing project for someone. A good project for kids, just because we have all this texture on here. So you can see I've worked my way around to the other side, and still I'm brushing back and forth across that texture, but I'm changing my brush, so I kind of got to get that curve in there because the fur has the curve. And I also want to come down onto the bottom, and we'll come up here to the top and get a little bit more right on the. We want it brighter on that tip that's this edge here, and then have it fade out as it goes down in closer to the body there. And we'll just keep working our way back down. So these guys are really fun to do because there's so much texture. The paint just goes right on there. Really easy. You don't have to work too hard for it. And you just want to go nice and light so you have more layers of light than heavy layers. Going with the lighter coats just makes your shading look more soft, has a more soft look to it. And we'll come back on the bottom a little bit. So now I want to look at my back. I want to make sure that it's kind of even all around, so it looks like I have it lighter over here than over here. So I'm going to come back over here and bring this up a little bit more. Again, I just grab the edge of my Rosy Tan and brush it out on my paper towel. brush back and forth here across my texture to get my whole hedgehog nice and even looking from one side to the other. I want to look down from the top down as well. Looks like I need a little more down here. So you can see that went on really, really nice and easy. So he looks pretty good. So now we're going to come to his little face here. And you can do their faces different. This one I had done all with the light colors. We'll do the other one with the darker colored face and arms, but we'll do this one with the light. So we're going to keep going with our rosy tan. But again, I want to have it brighter on the tips, and then less as it gets down to the crease down there, so we can see those other colors. And now we will start on his little belly here and his legs. And again, you have the framework of his leg against his belly. You have that nice crease in there on both sides, so you want to go across that. You don't want to go with it. You want to keep that black down in there and between his toes. So you're going to go across that. His little arm, you want to go across here. Where this arm is and his upper belly, you're going to go up and down instead of across, so that you don't fill in that black. So you do have to keep changing your brush direction. And I'm going to have it a lot lighter here through the middle, and then less rosy tan as we get down to where his little fur meets his belly, because that would be darker down in there because the light isn't hitting it as much. So you just want to kind of think about where the light would be hitting your little guy. And the high spots, which would be through his belly here, is going to be lighter because that would be getting more light on it. Plus you just want that, we want him to have a lighter underbelly. So I'm just grabbing my little rosy tan here and brushing it around. Now I got to kind of change my direction when I get to his little face. Kind of work around that because we've got the mouth going in different directions. Again, when I'm coming to the outside of his face, I want to get lighter with my rosy tan, so we have that nice darkness around the outside where the fur is meeting, and then we just want it a little darker there. These guys do come in different colors, so you can just go on the internet and look and kind of see which color you want yours to be, and then kind of decide from there. So this one is one more with the lighter colors. So I'm just brushing my rosy tan on here and building it up. There won't be much black left on the actual center parts of his arm and his belly and his face. That's kind of always the hard part, to know how much to put. This is actually kind of a nice shade. You could even stop at this point if you wanted, if you like that darker look to it. But we are just going to make him lighter. Especially through the middle here. So let's see, do we got any questions going on today? Oh geez, Wanda's under a tornado warning. That's not good. Hope everything's well there. What state are you in, Wanda? Everybody says the Midwest. So we're just building up our rosy tan and giving him a nice light color. In Maryland, okay. Well, hopefully everyone's safe in that direction. And we'll come back to his face and his ears. So let's see, we're just working on our little fellas here. We're working on the boxes for you guys to get them out. Did start pouring the scarecrows yesterday. So there's always a lot going on. Oh, because remember I said last Thursday, you never know what adventure we'll get into, and we ended up getting our shop chairs on Monday, so kind of sent a few pictures about that going on. So I'm just working in my rosy tan down into his face here and onto his body. And again, you could leave yours as dark or light, you know, get him as light as you want. There's no right or wrong. So I'm going to grab some more rosy tan here, not too much. And we'll get him a little bit lighter. There really won't be much black coming through. It'll be more around the outside of his little face. I want to get his ears. I think I'll get a little more on the inside top of this outside fur here, just to lighten it up a little more. So yep, we did get chairs for the shop, so that was fun. We did get rained on the last half hour, although it wasn't heavy rain, just enough to make the chairs wet, and we had to wipe them off when we got them unloaded. What else is going on? Tuesday we go get the key for the shop, and then we'll be starting painting it next week, cleaning and painting. We kind of have a drawing outline of how we're going to set tables and things up. It will not be a full-blown shop, traditional ceramic shop to start out. We have to build up to that. We will have some paint, some brushes, other supplies, some bisque, some greenware. So if you come, don't expect a full-blown, fully stocked shop, but we're working at it and we'll get there. The boxes do take up about 110% of my time and Courtney's. So working on this shop it's not going to go fast. We're gonna do it as we can, and we've got family and friends helping us, so we'll get there, and it should be fun, and that's going to start next week. So we'll be still pouring and cleaning and firing scarecrows and pumpkins in between, and doing some painting and cleaning, and we'll get there with everyone's help, of course, because otherwise we probably might be impossible. So we thank everyone for that's helping us. Courtney says we got a question. Tammy says, did you base coat these in black wash? Love the shop chairs. Yeah, we love the shop chairs too. The burgundy's perfect. The farmhouse has some burgundy trim on the kitchen cabinet, so that's kind of cool. So these were base coated, completely covered in black, but you could also do a black color wash. Either one would work. Most times, either way, color wash or the complete solid base coating works. I tend to use the base coating more because the color wash can be kind of sloppy and messy all over your hands. So I'd probably do more base coating than color washing, except for on the snowmen. But these were solid base coated black, but you could color wash them. Yep, that would work fine. So now we're going to put him aside, and we're going to grab our other little guy, and we're going to put rosy tan on all three pieces. So we'll just keep building that up. So again, I'm just going to start on his, you can start on the face or on the fur. I guess we started the last one on the fur, so we'll start this one on the face. It doesn't matter. So this guy I'm going to do more, give him more of the brown look and not such a light look. So I'm just going to go real light with my rosy tan. So we'll just give him just a little bit. And I got to think how he's supposed to look here in my brain for a minute. I think the little face, the little muzzle is what's dark brown, and then the other part is the lighter color than usually. So we'll give him a little lighter around his muzzle. And we'll let his muzzle darker. But again, you could just look on the internet, and these guys comes in all kinds of colors, from tans to grays to creams, browns. I don't know if they come in black though. So we'll let him have the little brown muzzle. And we'll get on our little fur here around him. And we'll get our little feet and hands just a little bit, because I think I want those a little bit darker. But we do want to get down in there and get his belly a little bit, so that's got a little bit of lightness to it. They usually seem lighter on their undersides. And now we can brush on our fur here. And I'm just working from the center out. So I'm just looking to make sure that's a nice round look to it. So just adding just a little bit more there. So again, I'm just going to keep going here, and I'm going to go right onto the bottom. I want that bottom nice and dry brush too, so it looks like it's part of the piece. It's like his whole being, and not the bottom a different color like the black and like it doesn't belong. But just as though the fur was coming right around to the bottom. So I'm just going to keep brushing away here. We'll make him just a little bit darker, I think, overall than the other one, the first one. And just keep working our way. And again, our fur is going this way, so I'm going across it. That keeps those dark brown and the black and the saddle brown in that crevice there, giving us that shadowing and shading, which gives our piece more dimension and more life and color. So I'm just working my way around, lightly brushing back and forth across all that texture. These guys are just super easy. They're just put it on there and you're done before you know it. So let's see, we got a brush order in this week. Actually, that was last week. So I think Courtney's got the website all updated, Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. For the most part, she says. It's been a busy week here getting ready for the boxes. If you're a subscriber, you can message us and Courtney can add it to your invoice. If you're not a subscriber, you just can go on there and add it to your cart and check out. Again, that's Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. Let's see what else. Our glazer order came. We had part of it came yesterday and part of it came today. So there's always something going on. All those things need to be checked in and quantities counted and inventories updated and products pulled for your boxes, because a lot of you guys requested paint again, and so we do put a lot of work into our boxes. So, and it does seem like everyone's enjoying them, so that's great. We put a big thank you out there. Someone asked or stated that they purchased a box yesterday for the first time. I think, was the name Shelly, the first name? And then several of you guys commented that welcome to the club and you're going to love it, and so thank you guys for letting her know. What is it? Shelly, yep. Letting her know and joining the group, and we're glad to have any of our new people, and so welcome everyone that's new this week or this month, and hope you enjoyed the boxes as much as everyone else has. We've continued to grow, although kind of slow and steady with the COVID going on, and some of our customers losing their jobs and incomes. Darlene. Yeah. Was Darlene that bought the box? Okay, well, congratulations, Darlene, for yesterday and everyone's little comments welcoming her, and welcome to the group, and hope you enjoy it. And if you have questions, you can always message us, or you can post on our Thursday live. Even if you post later, we do get a notification that you posted, so then we still go back and check them. Sometimes we have been getting behind here a little bit because we're quite busy this week. We kind of had a lot of stuff going on with the boxes and getting the chairs and getting stuff for the shop and just getting everything lined up. So my other little guy, now I'm going to leave him at that point, and we're going to go to the next one, the big girl. And I'm just going to start on my bottom. It doesn't matter if you start on the bottom or the top. I'm just starting on the bottom just to show you can start at different areas. Get some green on here. Guess the brown will cover it anyway. So we're just going to brush away here. Get our bottom with our rosy tan so it all matches and goes together. So Wanda asks, are you going to carry the fashion hues and going to do classes? So the fashion hues was actually just a birthday present from me to me. My birthday's in October. I wanted to learn how to use them. I was hoping to get them at the show in August, but the Milwaukee show was canceled. As far as offering classes and carrying them, I guess you could say we're hoping to do that in 2021. It would not be until after I'm certified and fully educated with them, because I want to be able to give you the proper instruction and proper advice and not incorrect information and incorrect advice. And then I also really don't want to carry them until I can do that, so I can give you the support that you would need if you purchase them. So we do, the plan is, I mean, we had hoped to actually carry them this fall, but with COVID and the show getting canceled, I couldn't get certified, and we've lost some of our subscribers as well. I mean, we were going to open the shop in May, but that wasn't possible with COVID, so we're just going to keep going, and hopefully in 2021 we'll be carrying the fashion hues and I'll be certified first. So, but basically that was just a birthday present to me, because it's something I always wanted to try, and we'll see where it goes from there. So if you need help with anything with fashion hues in the meantime, you can contact Sherry Porter by messaging her, and she will take good care of you. So that's about it for the fashion hues. It's not really a big to do, it's just me wanting to learn something new. So, just something I've always seen at the shows and wanted to do, and was hoping to get it this fall, but then the show got canceled, so that didn't happen. So we'll see. There's always lots of things to learn. There's always different things out there. I see Michael Harbridge has a class with some novies. He's going to do a webinar, some kind of, I'm going to maybe check that out even. It's kind of with hand building the puzzling clay, making some gnomes, so you guys could check him out too, because if it's a webinar, anyone should be able to sign up and pay and attend it. And I did take one of his classes about 6 weeks ago, a month ago, as a webinar, and it was really great. We learned a lot there too, so there's always stuff to learn.
Angela asked about your gift. I think she meant you can buy them as a kit or individually.
Oh, so Courtney says we have a question. Angela says, tell us about your early birthday gift you got. Okay, so I just bought myself my birthday gift, which was the Fashion Hues. It was called the Master Kit. So you can buy the Fashion Hue colors separately, or you can buy different kits. They have different kits, like they have a metallic kit and they have a pearlescent kit. I would think there's just a regular translucent kit as well. And then there's another kit besides. But the kit I got was the Master Kit, which included all the translucents and all the metallics and all the pearlescents.
Would you estimate how many bottles there were?
Sure. So the translucents, I believe there was 48 colors, and then the pearlescents and the metallics, I'm not sure if it's like 15 to 18 colors each. I'm not sure on the exact number of those, but there's a large, a pretty good selection. So if you're splurging, because I kind of splurge, you could get like the master kit, but you could also just buy a few bottles at a time and build your kit up. Or you could buy like the metallic kit one time and your pearlescent kit another time, and then your translucent kit another time. That way you don't have to pick colors. So that's kind of what I did. They also have a few other products. They even carry acrylics. But I didn't get those. I think we're going to stick with our Duncan and our Mako and Doc Holiday at this time. It was more of the translucents that I wanted to learn more about.
What are the old translucents that you used to use?
So Cordy asked, what are the old translucents that I used to use? I had Mako translucents, but those are no longer made. And they are formulated a little differently than the Fashion Hues translucents as well.
They're
So
water-based, aren't they?
the Fashion Hues is water-based, correct. My Mako ones are oil-based. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different products out there. So, Kimple has some translucents, but I believe they're a little bit different too from the Fashion Hues translucents. The Fashion Hues come in little, I think it was little 1 ounce containers or maybe 2 ounce. I actually only opened them to take the picture, and that's as far as I got because there's just too much going on this week, although it was really hard not to open them all and actually stick the brush in the paint and paint with them, but I just don't have the time. There's just no way this week that I could do it. I really wanted to though, so don't be surprised then if there's a picture one day here that pops up because I was playing around, because I would like to just stick the brush in there. So a little, even though they're little glass vials of paint, the paint goes a really, really long ways. You would never probably use up one bottle on one project unless you're doing just a huge, huge, huge project. So a little goes a long, long ways with those. So even though they seem expensive, you are getting your money's worth because they go so far. And you can blend the colors together. That's kind of the fun of those, because of their they stay what's called open because they don't dry. Like I'm brushing here with this acrylic and it's drying almost as soon as I brush with it. So those translucents don't dry that fast. So they stay open, which is basically staying wet. So I could do one color and then come back with another color and kind of blend those colors together. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to doing.
Can you do that when you wet brush?
So Courtney asked if you could do that when you're wet brush. No, not really, because the acrylics just really dry like right away, pretty much. Those stay open and wet for a period of time. And then you can also add a blending medium to them, which will even keep them open or wet even longer. So there's lots of things we can do with them, so it'll be fun. I do not really see those being in a Bisque box, in the Brenda's Bisque box, just because of the cost of the paint. Not sure what we're gonna do. Maybe just have special video projects that you could purchase and do. But they likely, I'm like 98% sure they're not gonna be a Bisque box project, just because the color of each bottle of paint. I know we've put in as extras like the chalk, but there's just, you would need so many colors that would be beyond the budget for us to include in the Bisque box. So I think we would have to do it as single projects that you could maybe sign up for, and like a webinar or something. We'll have to see. I'm not sure. So, but it's that's definitely a possibility. But being in the Bisque box is probably not likely, just because of the cost of each color. But that doesn't mean we can't still learn them and share how to do them and things. So we'll see where it takes us. So we'll have to have time to use them. Right now, time is really a problem because we have the boxes and we have getting the shop open and we'll need to pay rent on that, so we'll have to see how it goes. I might not have time to even touch those for a couple months here, so we'll see. But if you guys have a question about the fashion hues, you can message me and I can message Sherry and get advice on them for you, or you can message Sherry Porter yourself. If you want to purchase the kits, she'll definitely help you out with those. You had something, Courtney?
She'll let me take it.
Yeah. She can definitely help you out with purchasing your kits if you just want like the translucent kit or the pearlescence kit or the metallic kit. So we have our little guy all dry brushed with our Rosy tan. Well, actually it's the big guy. I shouldn't say the little guy, the big guy. And I'm just looking him over and he's looking pretty even. He's kind of got a lot right here and then not so much there. So I'm just trying to even that whole area out a little more just so it looks a little more even and not like a blotch right in one spot. So there he is looking pretty good. So if we look at our instructions, we now have lightly dry brush the fur using light brown to highlight. So we're going to go to our light brown. And I'm just tipping stuff over left and right here. So Kathleen asked if Courtney, did Brenda make you any of those amazing bars? No, I'm in trouble. I didn't have time, Courtney. Honestly, I was up at 10 to 6 this morning to get the kiln open and reloaded and fired before I left.
I baked a cake and Jason ate the whole thing.
And she baked a cake that don't have frosting on it, so I'm not eating that thing because I need a lot of frosting on my stuff. Okay, so we're going to put our big one aside and go back to our first one. That way that one can dry, and so now we're going to go to the really light effect on this one. So we have our light brown. And we will put a bunch of light brown on him.
Connie asked if the fashion hues need to be fired.
So we have a question, do the fashion hues need to be fired? Nope, the fashion hues do not need to be fired. It's a nice non-fired product. So that's really cool too. I have quite a few molds that I think will be really good for those. I know a lot of times you see the fall colors, the bright fall colors with those. Although I'm going to try snowmen. I think the snowmen with the deep rich colors could be really cute, and also a nativity scene I want to do with them. So I kind of have some things in mind.
Which nativity?
Anyone, it don't matter. Courtney asked which nativity.
You picked up quite a few.
It don't matter. I think the last one we have is a Duncan one, and it's kind of a bigger medium size. So I think that one might be kind of nice to do like Mary Joseph, just Mary Joseph and Baby in the nice deep rich colors. But yep, it's a non-fired product, so it would probably, I mean, if you got the whole kit, I would say the average person is probably going to last them their lifetime.
Especially for hobby.
For the hobbyist, you may have to get a few replacement colors, and then your replacement base coat colors, your cream and your white. You know, maybe your popular colors, like if you use blue all the time, or if you used a couple certain colors all the time. But overall, I would say the hobbyist, that those kits are going to last you probably close to a lifetime, because I have my Mako ones, which were the same size bottles, and I've had those since the late 80s, and they're still painting those. So I would say the average hobbyist, those kits would last you your lifetime, other than maybe a few colors, and definitely your base coat colors you're going to need, because you're base coating the whole pieces, so you might tend to use more of that. But otherwise, the various colors, I would say they're going to last you a good while. So we're just brushing our light brown on our little guy here, getting him just another shade lighter, still going across our texture.
Do they have like a long shelf
Courtney asked if they have the long shelf. I would say they do, because they don't, they're kind of that open paint where they don't dry as easily, I would say, as the acrylics. I mean, mine are, like I said, they're from the late 80s, but those are oil based, so that is a little different. So we need some more light brown. So I just want to get a little more light brown on the tips, the tip of his little fur here, and this little edge here, because that would just be nice and bright, because the light would be hitting it. So I'm just getting that a little bit lighter, his face a little bit lighter, his body a little bit lighter right through the middle here. So we'll put him aside, and we'll go to our little guy that's got his little belly up. So now we're going to make him just a little different than our first one, or the one from the sample, just to make him different. So we're going to keep his little muzzle the dark, and we're going to keep his little feet darker. So I'm basically just going to go on the top part of his face and then highlight him around the edge here. So just a little bit, and then just kind of fade it out as it goes down. So more up here at top, and then less as it goes down. Again, more at top. And just kind of brush that out. So like as you can see, you can just do them all in different shades, so they don't all have to be the same. I'm going to kind of skip his little feet here, and then I'm just going to get the top half of his face with our light brown, his ears, kind of this fur that's on the outside here, sticking out, and then just kind of let his muzzle nice and dark. Kind of come down on that side of his cheek a little bit, over across the top of his nose and down onto that cheek a little bit. It just gives him a nice little cute look, just so that they don't all have to be the same. Kind of get his forehead, because a lot of light would be shining on there. Again, right around the top, and we'll come around the bottom here just a little bit. Get his little belly down there just a little bit. And bring the sides down just a little bit more. Because the light would be like hitting this top area, and then it would getting less, because like that's tucked under him, so I don't want that with the light brown. I want to keep that dark. So we're just going to come around here just a little bit. And then I want to get his the little very bottom of his little feet here just a little bit, just lighten that up. Like he's got those little tenderness on the bottom of his feet, kind of like we do. So I'm not getting it on his toes though, I'm just getting it on the pad of his foot here. Okay. So this side looks like it's down a little further than this side, so I'm just going to get a little bit further on this other side. So you want to look at one side and compare it to the other side too. Same with his ears. And we'll get that just a little lighter there. So I think that's good for him. So the mama one, I think we'll do the same way, just to do her different. We'll get her little forehead here. And we'll come around. We're actually going to do her little chin with the light brown, and we'll just keep the little nose, muzzle darker. Get the little ears light. Come across the top of the nose there just a little. Get the ears and the cheeks, and then underneath the chin, kind of just a nice circle. And I need some more of our light brown. Did I tell you the light brown, Courtney? 467? I think we missed that.
I know I did.
You did?
I know I did.
I was just thinking, I don't think I told you the numbers, so I'm guessing you missed it.
Where is that?
Light brown, 467. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just gonna work that around here a little bit. Cordy's yawning over there.
I'm tired.
We had technical difficulties with labels this week.
Printers.
Um,
Printer problem.
The label company changed how they cut the labels, and so they don't want to print.
They cut them wrong. They're defective.
They're defective actually, and they sent us new ones, but they're also defective, so that they didn't work either today when they arrived.
So your boxes look a little different.
So your boxes are gonna have white with a little bit of pink instead of pink with a little bit of white, because it's not printing the pink on the label like it's supposed to. We're gonna change it up a little bit, but it's not by choice. So now I think they're sending us new labels again, but hopefully they're
I found another supplier.
they fit. Apparently they changed how they cut the labels and they're not lined up right. Okay, so we got his little face kind of light there. Now we're gonna do his little fur just around his little face here and up over the top. So I do let only like half of the little fur spike with the light brown, and then let the rest with your saddle brown and your rosy tan. And then just work your way back. And you kind of just get it right on the top ridge of each little furry spine there, just to highlight it a little bit. And then we'll do that probably all the way back, more across the top, because the top here would have more light hitting it than the rest. Come down to the tail and I'll just work my way up. Courtney's giving me the arrow to move my hand over. Huh? Bottom, oh, I guess I was in the bottom corner. So are we good now?
I think so. There's a leg.
Oh, there's a leg, so hopefully it shows it moved.
It's really clear though.
Yeah.
It's like super clear.
So the kids went back to school here this week. Some are a couple days in school, some are every day in school. Our high schoolers are only one day a week in school. It's kind of a mess. I'm certainly glad I don't have kids in school, but our hearts go out to those that do, because I can only imagine. Our county fair is going. I think we're one of 2 counties in the whole state that had the fair this year, but
Did they do like art?
Cordy asked if they did doing art and stuff. So the 4-H kids actually cannot show as 4-H. The UW Extension isn't allowing that.
Are they gonna do like open class?
No, they're not doing open class either. They're doing, it's called the Egg Society is letting them show. I did see that there were cows and stuff there, and the horse trailers were there, so I don't know that all the kids are there showing, but some of them are. The rides were there was food stands there. I just drove by to be nosy. When I went and got the molds from I took a load of Easter molds to the storage unit last night, and then I grabbed some of our new molds, the Yetis, all our Yeti stuff, and then all our the trailers for the trucks, the truck inserts with the Yetis and the gnomes. I brought that stuff back to the house, and then I drove by the fairgrounds because it's right there, and I could see, the trucks were there with the horses and the cows in the cow barn, and the food stands, some of the food stands and the rides, and so we're just working our way around him, doing the bottom part too. I'm doing his little paws just a little bit, and then onto the bottom just a little bit. Not a whole lot, because I am keeping him darker, just to show you can do them darker and lighter. And you just want to look him over and make sure he's nice and even with your colors. So you can have more of the light brown up on top and then less as it goes down, because there would be less light hitting the bottom part. So I think that looks pretty good for him. And so then our next directions, when we have all of our little animals done with these colors, so our next color is to dry brush. We did the light brown, so now we have our cargo pants, which is another, our really light color. So we'll shake that up. We have cargo pants, Courtney, OS 441. And I'm just going to use my same dirty brush as always because it's still in that brown family. And I'm just going to grab a little bit and brush it out on my paper towel and work it up into my brush. And we'll go back to our first little guy, our little stand-up guy. So now here's where we're going to get him nice and light like our sample piece. So he basically gets it all over. And you could have stopped at this point too if you wanted to. It's totally up to you. But we kind of made him a nice light guy just to show you can do them all different. And we're going to get our tip of our fur here going around. And I'm just brushing really light. I can't even tell you how light. I'm not brushing heavy at all. The paint really goes on nice with these artist paintbrush dry brushes. So we're quite happy with them. And that's what I'm usually using on our lives here. I'm just going to grab a little more of my cargo pants and brush it out, get a nice dry brush. Come back and get his belly because right through the center here we want this lighter. There'd be more light hitting that, making it seem brighter. Same with his little feet and his front part of his legs. And we'll come back and get some more on his face. And then we'll do a little more all the way around him. Just brushing across it like just like before, doing a little bit of less of each color each time. That allows the other colors to show through too. So just brushing away here. How are we doing on time, Courtney?
10 to 8.
Oh, 10 to 8. I thought it was like 8:30 already.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's like dark out already, and usually it was dark, not even dark at 9 o'clock here in like middle of June, but it's dark out already. And we'll bring a little bit down onto the bottom. So he's about as light as I want him, I guess, for today, but he's pretty light. Got nice shading going on. It's lighter on the high spots, these spots here, through here, kind of through his little face here. And then it kind of fades out as it goes away, so that's good. We got his ears highlighted, so that's good for him. So now we'll grab our other little guy here. So next week we will be able to do our witch, I believe, because your boxes will be en route yet. So next Thursday we will work on the witch. It'll kind of be an extra freebie as part of Courtney's September birthday gift. And then if you don't have your box by then, which I don't think most of you will, you'll be able to just come back and watch the video if you purchased her, and you can paint her, or if you have her, you can paint her. So I have my cargo pants now, so I'm really just going to do his face and lighten that up a little more. So Courtney's birthday is in September and mine's in October, so that's why I got my birthday present early. And then I'm just going to do the tip again of the little fur edges here around him, and just take it even less than I did with the light brown, but still kind of right on the top part where the light's kind of hitting this whole round area here, and then letting it darker underneath. So you can see that goes really, really quick because we don't need much. So you just want to think about how light hits stuff when you're painting it. So we're going to kind of come and get on the inside of his little fur there, and again on the bottom of his little feet, just to make that look kind of tender, like his little tender paw pads, foot pad. And I'm letting his little toes dark yet. And I think I want his face just a little bit lighter and over the top of his bridge of his nose here. And maybe a little more on the ears, just to bring his face a little brighter. And now I can see I have more down here and not over there, so I'm gonna bring a little bit down on this side too, just to make him even. And then you want to go back and look at him, so that's pretty good. So it is less of the cargo pants here and then more as it works away. So you kind of have that nice shading from the dark, and then a little bit of light, and then a lot of light. And we'll get some in between his eyes there just to lighten that up, and on the bridge of his nose. So there he's looking pretty cute. But just a little across his toenails or his toes and his front paws, just to highlight them, not to really color them, but more like it's just the light hitting them. Okay, so he's good. And now we will go to the other one, the big one, and do the same thing. So again, I grabbed my cargo pants with my same dirty brush, brushed it out. I kind of like to start with the face, so we'll just work it on his little face and ears here, just to lighten him up through there. I'm actually going to let this a little darker because this would be lighter on the top, and then his muzzle is even darker. So I'm just going to turn him around so I can work on the top half here. So you can see they can all be different. It's all in what you want to do. And the best thing that I found is to just go out on the internet and type in hedgehogs, and if you do the search, you can click on images, and then all kinds of images will come up for ideas. Or if you have hedgehogs, you can paint one and match the one that you got. So there. So I'm going to do just a little bit on his little front face here. Just a little bit on the edges, on the very top here. And maybe come about 2 inches, and then I'll have a little bit here and then more as I get towards his face. So a little bit and then more and more, and then a little bit and then more and more. Grab my Rosy cargo pants here and get it, and then less as I go out. So you can go either way. You can start here and go out and get less, or you can start less and get more. And then the rest I'm going to leave just so I have that nice, because as it's going down, it's going to be getting less light. So we have it nice and bright here, right here in front, kind of on his ears too. We'll do just a little bit on the side here on the cheeks because the light would come down just a little bit. And just a touch on his toes to lighten that up a little bit, just as a highlight. Okay, so that's about it for those guys. So now we can go back to our first one, and we can do our little pink highlighting on them. So I did use our cotton candy, Courtney OS 551 cotton candy. And I'll just use a little drop of that. Or if you have your chalk, you could also use your chalk. And I don't want a big brush like this for his little cheeks. I just want a little brush. I'm going to go with a size 1 artist paintbrush, dry brush. And I need some new paper. I'm just going to take a new piece of paper towel because I'm full. I'm going to just touch into the edge of my cotton candy and brush that out really good. And I'm just going to pink up his cheeks just a little bit. Not a lot, but if you have chalk, you can do the chalk. That would work well too. So I'm just doing in this little circle like where the little flesh or skin would be showing more than so much fur. So that's good for him. And we'll do just a little bit on this guy because now he's got darker cheeks, so you're really not going to have too much on there, just a little tiny bit. And then I actually want the little circle pad of his foot, I kind of want that more pinkish. That's just that little tender foot part. And then say you got that too pink, you could actually go back to your cargo pants and just put your cargo pants right back over the top of that real lightly, and that will dull your pink back down if you ever get too much pink on something when you're blushing it. Just go back to that last color that you used with that brush and just lightly brush right over the top of it, and your it'll still come through. It just won't be so vibrant. So you can see we tone that right down a little bit, but it's still pink underneath there. Okay, so now we'll go to the big girl. And I'm just a very little bit, not much pink. So there we got her done. And now we can go right to our eyes. So these guys just move right along really good. So now we have our Courtney OS 476 black. And I probably got enough to paint a dozen, but this will make do. So our gift one was the 595 one. 595, okay. So I'm going to use our liner that was your July gift, and it's our nylon round painting brush because we're going to paint now instead of dry brushing. So usually you want to use a nylon or a natural hair like a red sable brush for painting. So this is a 5-0 detail liner, because a detail liner is going to have a shorter bristles than a script liner. So this is also a 5-0 liner. That's number 2. Let's see. Here's our 5-0 liner. So this is also a 5-0 liner, but this is called a script liner, and that's because the brushes, the bristles in the brushes are longer than the detail liner. So we're just going to use our detail liner. I'm going to dip my brush in the water and then grab a little bit of black and just stir that in there so it's just a little bit inkier and not quite as thick as it is coming right straight out of the bottle. And then I just make quarter turns into that to load up my little liner brush. And now I want to paint my black. He has pretty simple eyes. They're just black with little white dots and commas in it. And then his little nose gets black. And then I actually thin my paint a little more and run it along the mouth just to bring that out a little bit. So we'll just paint his little eyes. So when you're painting eyes and you want to be steady, you're going to put your non-painting hand that's holding your piece solid on your table. You're going to take that painting hand and turn your piece so you can rest that painting hand right on that piece. So my 4th finger is like resting right on his little cheeks there. I like to start at 1, 2, 3 o'clock and bring it towards me. I normally don't paint right at 12 o'clock because if you make an error right at 12 o'clock, it's going to be very noticeable. So if you go off center, if you don't line up quite right, it wouldn't be quite as noticeable. So I'm just bringing my black right out to his little eye lines that's in the mold. And we'll just turn him around to do the other side. But you always want to make sure you're anchoring your holding hand and you're anchoring your painting hand. It will make your life a lot easier than trying to just hold it in midair and trying to paint. So we'll just keep turning it here till we get the little eyes painted in. So everyone that got the box and got the 5-0 liner as your gift, have you used it and do you like it? Let us know. Give us a comment so we know it. That way we know what you guys like and when we begin planning for next year, because that will start here pretty soon. So there's his little eyes all painted. And then, if you like our lives on Thursday night, give us a like or a thumbs up or sprinkle us and share us. That would be great too. So I'm just doing the same thing with his nose, just like I did with the little eye. He's just really simple. Yours just doesn't have much, it's not all kinds of extravagant detail. It's just nice little circles. And then I do tend to add little toenails on each toe. And to do that, I like to turn my piece so that I'm drawing it towards me. So I'm just going to give him a little black toenail here on each one. And I just touch and pull. And you don't have to do this if you don't desire to, but I just thought it added a nice little extra detail. It's usually easier if you pull the brush towards you when you're painting details like that. And we'll do the same with his little feet here. I actually probably should have did the little feet first and then the hands so I don't get my fingers in them. Courtney's really yawning over there, guys.
Mary says she's building muscle from moving molds.
Mary's, oh yeah, you'll build muscles moving molds. You'll lose a lot of sweat too. Alright, so we got all his little toenails on. We got his eyes and his nose black. So now I usually take my brush and dip it in my little ink pile and make that even lighter. Almost so you can see through it on your foil or your plate or your whatever, your tile. And I'll dip my, hopefully you can see that on there. It's just really thin and see-through. And I'll touch that brush just on that paper towel a little bit. And now I'll take my brush and run it on these lines, and it's almost like a watercolored look. So you can see that it adds a lot of depth to the mouth outline compared to down here. And that's just by watering that out so it's like watercolor. You're just adding just that little bit of depth to it. And now we'll do it on his bottom part here on both sides. So there, he's actually really done and cute. Well, he's not really done because we have to do his eyes and stuff, but we'll do the next ones quick. Now I'll go back to my ink thickness black and paint his little eyes. Again, anchoring that piece on the table and my painting hand on him. So did Mary find any good fun molds?
Was she looking at the other molds?
Oh, was that our Mary?
That was our Mary.
Oh, our Mary. Oh yeah, she found all kinds of stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah, I thought it was a different Mary moving
Oh,
molds.
it's our Mary.
No, she's got a whole page saved.
Oh jeez.
She's got a lifetime of painting to do.
So do you.
So do I, yep. So you just want to make sure his, look at his eyes, make sure they're both kind of the same size. You don't want one huge and one little. So we'll get his little nose here. She actually carried him up steps too for me, so that was the one she washed, you know, trying to catch up to clean up the mold room. It was a huge, huge help. So I could get the scarecrows in there. Otherwise I'd have been tripping over them and killing myself probably. That's how bad it was. Alright, so we're gonna give him some little toenails here. So you just gotta kind of swing your little pieces around and these toenails are not very big. They're quite, they're small. We don't want to overdo it. They're just little touches of black. And you could skip this part too if you wanted. I just thought it gives them just a little more pizzazz, I guess you could say.
Hedgehog pizzazz.
Hedgehog pizzazz, yep. Alrighty, so we got that. So now I'm going to dip my brush back in that water and go into that really inked out, diluted black. Get that kind of watercolor look. Actually, his little mouth is pretty dark, but we're going to make it just a little bit darker because his face is darker. And it's not a lot. It's just enough to add a little more definition to it. So you could do this same technique if you dry brushed and lost all the black down in your crevices. You could go with that brush and just with that diluted watercolor of black and just bring that back in that way too. In fact, we'll do that around his little foot pads here, and that'll be a good example of how you can bring that black back. Just a little bit by using that watercolor black.
Mary asked if you do eyelashes the same way by making it thinner.
So we have a question, do you use I make eyelashes the same way by making it thinner? Yep, same way. This is really, really thin. This is like watercolor. But it just brings back that color, because you can see we had kind of lost it around the pads of the foot with all our dry brushing, and now it's back really nice. But you could do that in crevices if you lost it. Like let's say you got a gob of the cargo pants down in there. You could use this. It's really watered out. Like I can see through the black on the foil. That's how watered out it is. So we'll put that one aside, and we'll go back to our thinker ink type thickness, and we'll do our other eyes. And we'll be done here before we know it tonight. We'll finish these, yep.
It's almost clear after it's dry.
Yep, we just got the the white to do, and then the brush on gloss sealer on it. And so I knew these guys would go really quick, so that's why we kind of decided that the Girl Witch would be a good extra for next week, because a lot of you did purchase that as Bisque. Maybe some of you already have it. If you want it added to your box, you could message us quick yet or not.
Did you pour extra?
You should have some extra, yeah. You could message us if you still wanted it to your box before. Well, earlier tomorrow would be the better, because we'll be boxing, so starting boxing. Courtney can,
Finished wrapping.
yeah.
Before Friday.
So, and then there will also be the tutorial on our Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque resource tab, so you could you'll always have reference to it on there too. That's just Courtney's birthday gift to you guys.
Because it's purple.
Because it's purple, she says. Alright, so we got that. So again, you can see the little line in his, between the two cheeks, we've basically lost a lot of that black. So again, I'm going to dip my brush in that water and just thin out that black so it's nice, and to me it's like watercolor. I can see right through it on the foil, and I just touch on my paper towel to get the most of it out, because I don't want too much. And I just drag it through there, and you can go a couple times to build it up if you want, if it's not enough. But you can see now that just added that depth to his little mouth. And we'll do it on the mouth, actual mouth part here. You could also do your blush like that. You could thin it out like that too, and then take your round brush and kind of paint it on there, and it would be nice and thin too, instead of so pink. It would be more watered out, but it's just enough to give that little extra. So we got to go back. I see I forgot his toenails, her toenails. We should have made them pink maybe. And you see I'm always resting that painting hand on my piece when I'm doing little detail things. Okay, so there we go. Look at that cute face. And we'll brush that out. And now we need our white. So Courtney, we have OS 431 white. And it'll just take a drop. Oh, I got a ton of it. OS 431. And I'm going to dip in my white, and I have that by the black, so we're going to come over here and just get us a nice little thin ink pile here. If you're doing a lot, you'd want to use a palette knife. You wouldn't want to use your brush, but it's such a little bit, we'll use our brush. And now we're going to give him our little comma on each eye at about the 1 o'clock on each eye. You don't want to do 11 o'clock on one and 1 o'clock on the other. He's going to look cross-eyed, so go at about 1 o'clock. Push down and then lift. And then push down and lift. That one's a little short, so we'll just make it a little bit longer. And then if you want, I'd like to put 1 or 2 little marks on his nose. And we'll do the same with this guy. So that one was at 1 o'clock, so we'll do this one at 11 o'clock just to make them different. Push down and lift. Push down and lift. We'll give him a little X on his nose. So you can see you can do them different. That one, first one had 2 lines as a highlight. This one has an X as a highlight. Now we'll do the mama one, and we'll come at 1 o'clock. And push down and lift. And push down and lift. And sometimes you got to do it a couple times to get it just right. So the other one's a little heavier, so we'll have to bring this one heavier. And I'll wash that out. And I will go to my ball stylus, or you can use the tip of your brush. We had the ball styluses in our January box. So I'm going to use the little one, and I'm just going to dip into my white and put a little white dot right at the top of each of my highlights. And if you wanted, you could put one down in the corner too. You just want to kind of have them the same size. And her, we didn't put nothing on her nose, so we'll come back and add a little highlight on her nose. And then we'll let that dry. And we'll give the little dudes some highlights right at the top of their little marks. And you don't want big, huge ones so that they look out of place. You kind of want them the same size in each eye. And I'm just pushing straight down with my ball stylus real lightly. So there we go. So now you could, at this point, I would take these guys and seal them with either the matte or the satin sealer. I would prefer the matte myself. And then after you seal them with the matte sealer, I like to come back with the gloss sealer, or you could use the matte seal. Well, I guess I would use the gloss, not the matte, because we're not using glitter. So I use the gloss sealer, brush on gloss sealer, AS953, and they have a little tube of that, little pot of that, right? They had in their boxes, Courtney?
Yeah.
Right? So you got a little pot of this, so you could do this with your, from your box. So I'm just going to use my little liner because I have such little areas. I'm going to dip in my gloss sealer, and I paint it on the eyes, and you just go right to where the black is. And that will make, once that's dry, even though it's going on cloudy, when that dries, it's going to make their little eyes look like they're real, like wet, looking like your eyes look wet. So we'll put that on the eyes. And then I also put it on the nose, like they got a little wet nose. And I just bring it right out to the black. And again, this, even though it's cloudy, it's going to dry as white, or clear, I'm sorry. Then I take that same gloss sealer, and I just put a little bit on each toenail, just to give that little shine that toenails have. And this dries pretty quick, probably within 5 or 10 minutes. And then it will dry clear. So the gloss sealer, you don't have to seal your whole, the brush on gloss sealer, you don't have to seal an entire piece with it. You can use it in little areas like this, like you can see that's already drying. And if it's not shiny enough for you, you can come back and do a second coat. So we'll do this other guy quick here. You do want to make sure your white and your black is dry when you do this, or it's going to smear it. But you would have sealed it with your aerosol sealer first anyway, so we're just painting on the brush on sealer. And again, that was part of your Bisque box. So our Bisque box do include a lot of extras. They don't include the paint for the pieces. It's the Bisque. Extras, it may be chalk, glitter, or little, we've used little burlap patches. We've got all kinds of little extras. Then the big extra is always a bigger product. It could be the brushes, the dry brushes. We've had ball styluses, we've had chalk, rub-on metallics. So that was kind of a paint product, but we used it on the piece, and we were able to secure it at a reasonable price that it could be in the box. But your acrylic paints are not included in the box. You would need to purchase those and your aerosol sealer if you're going to use that. Courtney's giving me hands. So I'm just getting the brush on gloss. So if it's just that little, those will be in like little pot containers. Some of those extras like the brush on gloss, sealer, the different glitters. Sometimes there's rhinestones. There's been little bows, all kinds of little goodies to finish your piece, just not your paint and your main sealer. So there we have our little faces all done. Make sure you wash out that brush because that is a sealer and it'll stiffen your brush right up. If that would happen, you can use Murphy's oil soap. Work it into your brush, or alcohol will work too, but I like the Murphy's oil soap. You work it in there really good. Say you left it overnight and forgot it and it got all stiff. Even with paint in your brushes, get that Murphy's oil soap and work it in there. And it'll soften them right up. You'd really be surprised. I had brushes I thought I would never save, and I saved them. That'll work good to clean up your dry brushes with too, every once in a while. I always brush them out in my water when I'm done at the end of the night. And in there I have my Harold's brush pad, and you can see that Harold's brush cleaner pad. So you just brush back and forth nice and gentle, and that takes the majority of your paint out of your piece, your brushes. And then I usually dab them on my paper towel and lay them horizontal to dry to keep the water out of the ferrules. You want to take good care of your brushes. So then it gets just like this way. You can see now how all that paint is coming out of that brush. But say one night you forgot to do that, and then you get up the next day, you get up and your brushes are all stiff and hard. You can use Murphy's oil soap and just work that in there, and that will soften, and then you can scrub in there too. It cleans them right up. So Cordy asked, where do you find the Murphy's oil soap? It's where the dish soap and the clothing soap and all the cleaners are, where the cleaners are. But that will almost always save a stiff brush. I've used it on brushes that I thought were dead for probably a year, and tried it, and it works really great. So that is a good way to condition your brushes and clean them. I usually do that twice a year with my brushes anyway, to clean them really thoroughly, like twice a year. I'll just take every brush I have and work that Murphy's oil soap into them and wash them out, and it just really cleans them up really good. So now here's our little, actually the mama hedgehog. Now she's almost dry, so I just thought I'd show you that quick too. And here's our little belly up one with his little dark face. And here's our standing up one with his light face. So you can see you can do them in all different ways. So we hope you guys enjoyed this box, because they're just a really fun box to do. And a great box for learners. So if you have someone you want to learn how to do dry brushing, this is a great little project. We do have a few left on the website if you want to get some yet. Be a good Christmas present for kids, just because they're so simple to do. The painting goes on so easy, they won't be frustrated. And then they could always come back, and the videos are saved, so you can always come back and look at the videos. So we're working on boxing and shipping up these guys.
We asked if they could get the brush pad.
Courtney says you guys asked if you can get the brush pad. Yes, you can. We have those. You can, if you're a boxer subscriber, you can message us. Courtney can add it. If you're not, you can go on Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com and purchase it.
It's $4.99.
It's $4.99. Courtney's going to put the link in there, but if you are a subscriber, anything we add to your boxes is going to ship for free. You just pay for the product. So this is our September box that we'll be working on in September, but next week we will be working on the Girl Witch, since we did finish the Hedgehogs tonight. That's kind of Courtney's birthday present from us to you guys, so I just have her started. She's going to be purple, so we started with the dark purple, and then all her red and orange areas have rust on them, and I'll get her finished. So you can see a picture of that, so you can follow along with that next week, or you can just ask any questions you want to ask about anything. We can do that. How about a question and answer section next week too? That might be good. That way you guys can maybe shoot out some questions you normally wouldn't ask. That's probably a good idea. And then our next box for October is our Scarecrow box, and we don't have that pre-order up yet, right? Because I need to get this painted. So, but this is what's coming for the next box. If you're already a subscriber, and if you're not, Courtney will post when that is posted. So we are getting more limited on the boxes. So if subscribers will come first over the one-time purchases. And then we have Mr. and Mrs. Frankie. That was from last year, and we're doing a tutorial that you'll be able to download on these guys as well. That'll be on Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. Courtney's got those instructions today, so she'll be working on that after the boxes go. So it won't be right away, but it will be there next week sometime. So I think that's about it for tonight. Courtney, got anything?
Boxes ship on the 5th and 6th, but Labor Day.
So yep, we'll be shipping your boxes on
It's the 5th and the 6th.
5th and the 6th, but then we have Labor Day on Monday, so we do have a few that have extras in them that won't be going out until
Like the how you picked
on
up
Tuesday,
morning.
just because I have to fire another kiln load. So if you had a lot of extras, your box may not be going out till Tuesday.
Even if we drop them off on Saturday, I don't think they're gonna go very far.
Courtney thinks even if when we drop them off Saturday, because of Monday being Labor Day, they're not gonna get far in shipping. So that's why we're gonna do the witch next week, because I'm afraid everyone's not gonna get their boxes. There seems to be a lot of delays with the postal service and shipping, and we have a holiday on top of it. So we hope to see you guys next week. Think about some questions you might have, and we'll see if we can answer them.
They can still get that box.
And you can still get the Halloween box. We still have a handful of those left, and that again is these guys. So they're really cute. And as always, you can always add any bisque or brushes or supplies to your boxes. You just message us and Courtney adds it to your invoice. I'm trying to pour some new stuff every week to get added. We're working on some old stuff. She's got the witchy poos to get weighed and bubble wrapped and all that stuff, but we need to get the boxes out first. So it's going to be kind of a busy week on top of getting the keys to the shop next week. So sit tight, and if we don't hear from us right away, we'll be getting back to you. We sometimes
They should be caught up.
isn't right away. Courtney does think she's caught up though, so if you were waiting on an answer to something up till today,
There's just a
send
few
us
people-
another message probably.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we think we got everybody covered.
there's a few people you need to pull molds for.
I do have 2 ladies I need to pull molds for, which I forgot about last night when I was at the shop, so I apologize for that, but we'll get those pulled. Otherwise, I think we're doing good, and I hope you guys are enjoying everything, and have a great week. Stay healthy, everyone, and next week. Bye.